Hey, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, always giving you that good on that quality información, if that's how I say it with that specific tongue. Okay, what are we going to be talking about today? It is the Halloween Festival event. I have yet to do a video on this because, one, I wanted to play it out a little bit and really just see what it was going to be like, in addition to just not having as much time as I thought I would compared to trying to push out those top 25 game-wide stat series videos that we have been, which have been fantastic. But I finally have got around, one, to actually participating in the event since it started on day one, along with just kind of looking at feedback from other players, along with my own assessment on how I'm thinking the event is going so far. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what my thoughts are on the event overall so far, and then again kind of give some feedback here and there. Of course, as always, make sure you guys sub, like, and ring that notification bell to get updates on when we have new content coming out. Okay, and as always, if you want, you can join the Discord, as we always post videos there the moment that they are released. Okay, let's look at the Halloween event. Okay, right, so you got this typical standard 5-day rewards that go, right? This is pretty consistent. Then we get into the achievables here, which, again, these are just the tasks that they give you across the 5-day period, right? So you get these rewards. In addition, right, which is nice, you do get some philo stones here, right? I mean, if you look at some of the rewards that you get, again, just completing these for the 5 days, regardless, even if you're not getting these, they are attaching some rewards here to those. So some of these are nice, right? You get some AP, which is awesome. Philo stones, which again, I can't be mad at philo stones. EXP scrolls. You're gonna get some stamina. Day 5 has it unlocked. So again, all of that is nice that you get from it. Then we get to, okay, how are you gonna actually get these additional items, right? And this part is pretty standard. You do it from gathering, collecting resources in your city, defeating gnomes and bosses, right? Then we get, well, and before we get there, let's talk about, so we'll go here, right? Skin. I'm going to be honest, awesome. I love the skin. I think the skin looks dope. Trick or treat, right? So this is where you're going to go to develop your candies. You can see I have 170, right? When you are attacking and gathering and doing the other items, right, you'll eventually get these pumpkins, these ghost fiesta chests. And so I'll just summon these so you can see, right, you get one of each just per the amount you have. And then I'll end up going to my trick-or-treat, right, and I can just go ahead and do this a few times. You see the candy disperses, gets put in. We'll do it one more time just for dramatic effect. Ooh. Okay, moving on. Then we get to the gift party. And gift party, right, is the section of these types of seasonal events where you would usually see the rewards, additional items that you can purchase from the resources that you gather during the event. The difference here, and this is really where, I am very iffy, right? This is where the roadblock comes in for me. Because unlike every single other seasonal event where you've had the opportunity to use the resources you've collected to claim certain options that you want to select, they switch that up completely. You can now not do that. You only have two options. You can either request a gift and someone can get it for you, or you are gifting it to someone else, right? So don't get me wrong, it is an interesting concept, and it's not something that I think is inherently a bad idea. But the challenge is that it should not be the only option, right? Like they went from 0 to 100 with this, right? You went on the opposite, like you basically put up a fence and jumped over it and said, no, we're on this side now, like with the way they did this. What they should have done, right? A better option would have been to allow for you to still claim items, but then add the option of gifting or requesting, right? So you have a certain amount of these that every player can claim for themselves, right, by using resources, and then if they have extra resources left over, then they can gift it to other people, or they can request more. That would have been a better way to slowly introduce this, right? Bear in mind, we as human beings are not the most susceptible to what we would refer to as extreme change or quick change. right? You got to work it into the system one at a time in nice periodic progressive steps, right? And so by leaving what the default option is that we've seen from every event, which is to claim, then you add on the gift and request. And then later down the road, if you want to do a specific type of an event like this, promote it ahead of time. Send a system mail and say, hey, just want to give everyone a heads up. During this upcoming seasonal event, we'd like to try something different and, of course, get feedback on it, right? And this is how it's going to be. Instead of kind of hitting people with this blindsidedly, which to a developer, they might not view it that way. But it's important to look at how the player is viewing it. And for me, when I view it like this, there's no precedent for this. This has never been done before. And because of that, right, and now the interesting thing is that if you want to go and try and, like, let's say I want to go and create a new account, right? And this is something that just kind of by happenstance, I'm just going to pick a lower server here. I'll just do 77. It says yes. Now I see a total number of players on this server has reached the maximum. So this is something that we started seeing reported on by some players who were essentially saying that they were creating extra accounts in order to basically gift themselves resources. Now, bear in mind, you can still do this if you have alt accounts. There's no rules that say you cannot, right? For anyone that already has alternate accounts or if you have farms, you can easily go into those and gift yourself, right? That's basically a way around, trying to make the event seem normal, right, or standard from what we usually have been seeing across all seasonal events. But they ended up, what I should say is it seems like they disabled it, right? We don't know because there's no official announcement that has came out about it. But we could kind of put two and two together and make what we would refer to as a calculated guess that there was probably a lot of players that were making alt accounts and just basically gifting themselves as many resources as they possibly could. It is not a bad idea if you think about it. Now, this kind of goes back to what the IK Love gift code scenario ended up being, right, where you could just basically spam that back and forth. You could arguably do this. The only challenge is that you just have to make a bunch of different emails. So by them disabling it, I understand, because it was probably influxing the amount of accounts on servers, not to the point of where it was like server 97, where there was so many players that were being on it because it was like the debut Contention of Legends event, and they basically had to turn it off because there was just too many players overloading the server. It's not anything like that. This is just people that are going in and making additional accounts so they can take advantage of the event. Even if you have 1,000 people in your server do 10 accounts, you're still not going to get to a maximum player threshold for what we've usually seen, which is probably something like 50,000 plus, I would imagine. It has to be something up there, given that's the average amount of players that seemingly, right, populate kind of well-populated servers before a new one comes out. So because of all this, we are now in a position where, right, how is the event going? I will say this, though, right? And I mentioned this a few minutes ago. I do not think that the event is I do not think that the way they did the event is inherently bad. I just think that the execution and the options that they've given are going to leave a bad taste in many players, if not arguably every player's mouth, because of the quick change. Right? That's the part that we have to look at. It's not that the idea is not a cool concept. It's not that, I mean, again, right, because you can still gift people other things, even though they can be somewhat lopsided, because you have to reach out to people now, right? You have to do a lot more work, right? They're basically creating extra steps where, let's say you want to try and have a balanced payout. Well, the only way you can really do that in this type of an event is if you go to your alliance members and you say, hey, what do you guys need? You keep a tally of what everyone gets, and you try and do it in somewhat of an even fashion. If you say, okay, hey, this person needs this person needs this, you give this to this person, you give this to that person, right? Otherwise, right, it could just become a popularity contest. Like a good example is, this is not on this account, but on my S79 account, right? I've had people that have already gifted me like really good gifts. But that's going to be essentially my farm. I'm not going to play it. This account that I have here, right? Eventually, I'll bring it over and migrate it. So it's just an example, right, of some of these isolated incidents that can occur where you might have that type of an account that isn't your main, but you're getting gifted, right? And it's just one of those things where the resources aren't really going there's the chance that they will not go to the optimum account that they could go for, right, in that one other instance, right, of what else can occur in the event. So with that being said, right, that's why I think the event is a little lackluster, and I just think it really misses the mark on what it could have been if they just made it to where the gifts were all claimable, and then there was a set amount that after you claim them all, or even if you just wanted to gift any of that amount, right? There's a couple ways they could have done it, where you at least at bare minimum, the common denominator for all seasonal events need to be where you can claim all the gifts for yourself, and then if you want to have extra gifts, maybe you can gift those out, right, with some of the additional resources that you collect, right, which is kind of almost like saying, well, you worked for it, you invested additional resources as well to get these extra gifts. Why can you not gift these to other people instead of kind of letting the rest of your resources go wasted, or if you've just collected everything for the event and there's nothing else? As I said, there's a few ways that they could go about doing it. I just think that that part of it, when it came to the rewards, really missed the mark. And again, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why? Did you find the event enjoyable? Are you in an alliance where maybe they are doing a lot of organization and structure? Do you guys have a group chat set up where you're basically using that to ask for requests to try and make sure that certain players get certain rewards or certain resources that they could from the reward shop? Again, let me know what your experience has been like so far. And again, if you find anything similar to what I'm saying, let me know in those comments down below. That's it for me. Until next time, we out.